Namaste, creative yogis. How you all doing out there? How's your week going? I hope it's going well. And you're really enjoying this lovely Libran energy that's flowing through and helping our earth energy to be lifted into this beautiful heart-centered approach to living our lives. And really sort of starting to understand how significant it is to take that time to love ourselves, to be in that sacred space, and to really cultivate self-love practices, and then extending that out to everyone around us. So it's quite an interesting way of being in the world. It helps us to be healthy, actually, and really becoming aware of where the dysfunctions arise, where the imbalances are. So when we think about love, the little Lakshmi mudra, this one, is a useful one, because this little lotus flower is a cup, as it were, and so the cup is filling with unconditional love, but it's also equally giving. So it's about that balance between giving and receiving. So a little mudra where we sweep our hands around and come back to the lotus mudra is a nice one to kind of practice as you're doing your yoga practice, to find that balance between giving and receiving. Easier said than done sometimes. And I think, us women in particular have a kind of programmed to be nurturers, and we do tend to be the givers. And so focusing on learning how to receive might be something you might want to think about. And so I do things like I receive massage, I receive facials or mani-pedis or whatever. And being a masseuse myself, you might be lying there receiving your massage, but I can tell if somebody isn't actually receiving that treatment. They're just like a solid concrete, and you can't get in, you can't put your lovely healing energies into them. So it's not about just turning up, it's about being soft and open, that trust, being trusting and being willing to receive. So that's something I think us ladies in particular really need to work on and focus on in ourselves, is taking that time to receive and be willing to receive from others. If we're always the caregiver, we're always looking after other people, quite often that doesn't allow room for them to give back to us. So it's creating that space to receive, and it's a really beautiful thing to contemplate over the next week, is how can I receive, And it could be just something like receiving a compliment and holding that, instead of going, oh no, don't be silly, actually holding and saying thank you and feeling that gratitude in ourselves, really cultivating that beautiful space to be open to receive. And as we look around our lives and all of our beautiful relationships, just noticing if everything's in balance, is there that balance of giving and receiving? Or is there tensions and conflicts? And just being a witness for a little while, journaling, just paying attention, and then through your yoga and meditation asking for guidance as to how to proceed with any areas that aren't in balance, and just looking out for that guidance. And maybe you need help, depending on where the conflicts arise. So, for instance, in my workplace there was a lady there who was very aggressive, actually, and she was like that with me. And with nobody else, only me, did she kind of focus that attention on me. And so I told her, that I wasn't happy with that, and I wasn't willing to be around that kind of thing. And so what she did was go really quiet. She never spoke to me at all. And we had to work together, and she wouldn't even look at me or anything. And so then I went and spoke to my manager and said, listen, I'm just dropping the days that she's working, so I'm out of the way of that. I don't want that in my life. I tried to mediate it, and she wasn't willing to listen. So I'm getting out of the way. And interestingly enough, she actually moved on from the job about 3 or 4 weeks later. So the problem got resolved for me. So I sometimes feel like, just energetically, if you make that conscious decision to do your best to resolve these problems and get a balance back. And even if you can't, because you're not in control of other people's lives and their stories, but at least you're putting your best foot forward. I think the universe then kind of steps in and helps you. I really do believe that. I believe in this magical stuff, this energetic work. I think it's magical because we don't understand it, more than anything else. But it's definitely there, a very real presence in our lives, and it's tuning into that, and always being in our heart space, always finding our way back to our beautiful hearts, which is our compass through life. So it's such a gorgeous month, an opportunity to really bring more love into your life, to be able to receive that love, able to give that love. It's really sorting out your connections so that it's much more light, much more high vibrational kind of stuff. So pretty extraordinary. So you may be feeling the joys of spring and wanting to get out there and maybe even beautify yourself and work with your upgrading your image, all that sort of thing. It's kind of stuff that's going on this month, encouraging you to get out there and shine, allowing yourself to be seen and to be felt, because your heart energy is connecting to other people. I'm noticing people are smiling more towards me because I'm really consciously sitting in my heart space and speaking from my heart to people, and they just really kind of notice that and are much more smiley and more receptive to me. So it's a lovely thing to cultivate and work on and focus. So a chant you might want to play with is Om Mani Padme Hum, that opens the heart chakra. So as far as the sort of tune goes, I think it's Om Mani Padme Hum, like that. So, but you can play with it, especially if you've got a singing voice. You can really work with really weaving the sounds through. And if you can chant it 108 times, because that's a yogic number, throughout your day. I do it when I'm walking around. I sing to myself. Then that helps to open your heart chakra. So have a play with that and this beautiful, lovely mudra just working through. So what I do is I circle through my wrists, I bring the heels of the hands together, the little finger and thumb, sweep it up, and then I circle it around again. So that is your lovely heart mudra to play with as you're doing your flows, your grounding flows. Speaking of which, I have been playing with balances in my grounding flows and doing some posts of that, some little films to encourage you to have a play with those. And again, it's designed to kind of lighten you up a bit as you're kind of trying to balance. You quite often kind of wobble and fall over and stuff, and it just helps you to not take yourself too seriously, I think, and just have a bit of fun, So just look out for those and just give them a try, just to have a bit of fun with your yoga practice. Alright, so that's it for me today. I'll choose your card. Sorry, I forgot to. Excuse me for a sec. I'm back. Sorry, it was behind me there. It's been interesting choosing cards and things here in yoga classes. This is stuff I've done since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. Is doing card readings, and yet a lot of people who come to class here have never done it before in their lives ever, and they just kind of not quite sure what to make of it when I offer them these cards to choose for themselves. So it's interesting, different life journeys, I suppose. Alright, so what do the creative yogis need to know today? I am determined to leave a legacy of untamed love and greatness. So it's very in line with what we're talking about today. I am determined to leave a legacy of untamed love and greatness. So there you go. Amazing. What can you say to that? That's quite a good aspiration. Alright, so that's it for me today. Have a lovely week. Namaste, Creative Yogis.